Yes! Oh, it is. It is a Wednesday hump day episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno. I'm riding solo today. Manny Chang is off in the woods. You know how he does on Wednesdays. Manny has that survival training. He's running around with beef jerky in his pocket, trying not to get attacked by wild animals. So we wish him well. Hopefully, Manny will be back safely with us tomorrow. So it's just me and you guys. I will be joined by at least one guest today. At around 3:15, Gary Fuhrman from canesport.com, who I would imagine probably hasn't slept in the last 2 weeks, trying to follow all of these rumors and reports about the athletic directors and potential head coaches, reading the tea leaves, getting different information from different sources. So Gary Fuhrman is nice enough to join us in about 15 minutes. I think Big John Studd is going to be back to his usual Wednesday spot today at around 3:30, 3:40 p.m. I'm yet to track him down this afternoon. So God willing, he shows up. Maybe he's off in the woods with Manny. I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully Big John Studd is all right, and he joins us today on Wednesday as usual. We've got a lot to unpack today. I'm in at least a little bit of a better mood today than I was yesterday, even though nothing has changed with the Miami Hurricanes mess. Nothing has really changed with the Miami Dolphins, but I do have some things to say about the Dolphins. The Heat finally got punished for their tampering. We'll talk about that a little bit today. But no, I'm actually, one of the reasons why I'm in such a good mood today is the Florida Panthers. Unbelievable comeback last night against the Washington Capitals. I don't know how many hockey fans we have in here. It may just be a small handful of you. There's going to be more hockey fans later in the season if the Florida Panthers keep playing the way that they're playing, because I know people will jump on the bandwagon. That is inevitable. I saw it happen back in 1996. So many people jumped on the bandwagon. Down 4-1, third period against the Washington Capitals. The Panthers end up getting a game-winning goal, 5-4 from Sam Reinhart. 14.4 seconds on the clock. But we're going to take a big nosedive into a lot of Miami Hurricane stuff in a moment here. I want to remind you guys that this episode and every episode of Donno Daily is proudly served by the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. This is our spot, the official sports bar of 5 Reasons Sports. We've had watch parties out at the Quarterdeck. We're going to have another watch party, I believe, in the month of December. We'll get you guys more details on that. The seafood is always fresh. I love the sushi. I love the oysters and Maine lobster, the fresh mahi-mahi. Their sandwiches and burgers are on point. I love their curly fries and their tater tots. You can pick a number of different awesome sides at the Quarterdeck. You want to wet your whistle out there while you're watching the big game or the big fight. The Quarterdeck has 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day. The happy hour literally never ends at the Quarterdeck. And you can watch every UFC pay-per-view fight at the Quarterdeck for zero cover charge. It's a great place to watch all the Heat games, great place to watch all the NFL games, all the bowl games coming up. The Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. If you want to check out their website, you can check out the menu there on the site, which is nice. See all the delicious food out there, figure out what you want to order, or if you want to find the location nearest to you, visit them on the web at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. And we have an official sports book on Donno Daily. Yes, you can use BetUS.com in Florida. You bet your ass you can. I'm in Florida. I use BetUS.com every single day. I'm betting international soccer. I'm betting NFL games. I'm betting NBA games, UFC fights at BetUS.com. It is very easy, accessible in Florida. BetUS.com, the 27-year mainstay in the industry, the 3-decade leader. They are known as America's favorite sports book because they've got the best customer service. They've got odds on every sport you can imagine, and they have the best bonuses in the industry. You're not going to find this anywhere else, my friends. Sign up today at BetUS.com with our show code, my show code 5RSN125. When you make your deposit, they'll ask you if you have a promo code. You do have a promo code. It's 5RSN125, and they're going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus. If you deposit, for example, $100 with your credit card, they're going to give you $125 of free play money on top of that $100 deposit. How good is that? You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Panthers, baby, says Big Dan 305. Brooklyn Rob is scared to death. Don't say Panthers, you mush. I don't talk a whole lot about the Panthers on the show. We've had Panthers guests on before. I don't talk a whole lot about them. That might be why they're doing so well this season. And by the way, so happy to see Brooklyn Rob is recovered. I didn't know you had surgery, man. Speedy recovery to you. He says, I'm back, recovered from surgery. Hope you missed me. What did I miss? You missed a whole lot of mushing. You missed some fun conversations, but you missed a whole lot of me bringing bad luck to various players and very teams. The usual stuff, Brooklyn Rob, but we're so happy to have you back, and I'm so glad you are feeling better. Now, here's the reality on this big-time feeding frenzy with Miami Hurricanes rumors. It's reached a point, my friends, where honestly, if you're the type of Hurricanes fan that really gets caught up in every, supposed report, everybody, they tweet out the googly eyes emojis and they claim they know something. A lot of these bastards pull that trick where they're like, oh, you won't believe what my source just told me. I can't share it with you, but you won't believe what they just told me. Honestly, if you're a Canes fan and this stuff stresses you out, I would honestly recommend you might just want to stay off social media till late night Friday or early Saturday. And I'll explain why a lot could happen around that time, if not a little bit before that time, okay? So here's the reality on this feeding frenzy of Hurricanes rumors. And I want to clear this up, right? Because some of you out there maybe don't live and die on the message boards like others of us do. And maybe you're not refreshing Twitter every 30 seconds. So you're only hearing bits and pieces. You're not sure what to believe and what not to believe. Okay. We have a ton of bad actors and unreliable narrators out there that are currently spreading selective information to suit their agenda. I see that happening a lot, and I know that that's happening because it's become very obvious. Certain members of the board of trustees at Miami do want Manny Diaz to be retained. Those people do exist. People in positions of power who, for whatever reason, think Manny Diaz needs more time. They like Manny. They think he's the right man for the job, and they are fighting for him. Okay, so there are certain people in positions of power, trustees, who want Manny Diaz. So they are spreading news about Manny Diaz being kept on because it suits their narrative and it suits their agenda. Now, there are other BOT members who want Mario Cristobal badly. Okay, so they're spreading news on Mario. There might be some who really want Lane. Okay, people are spreading information as if it's gospel to suit their own narratives. And it's not just on coaches. The same thing, my friends, is happening with athletic directors, because depending on who you talk to, and I feel like we all have a source or two, right? And it doesn't even have to be someone who's in media like me. I think every Canes fan, they've got a source, somebody who gives them information, has been right about things before, so you trust them. We've all got sauces, okay? We all have sources out there. The same thing that's happening with the coaching information and misinformation is also happening with athletic directors, because depending on who you talk to, it's definitely Gino Torretta, or it's definitely Alonzo Highsmith, or it's definitely Eddie Nunez, right? I'll give you an example, okay? I've got two friends of mine. I mean, one of them's a friend, one of them's an acquaintance, but two people who have given me information before on the U that have been right about certain things that have happened, hirings, firings, transfer portal stuff. They've been right about stuff in the past. Two friends, I'll consider them both friends, who are very well connected, okay? One of them says that the athletic director's job is Gino Torretta's, and they just need to finalize it. You've just got to slide the papers across Julio Frank's desk. He needs to sign it, and then it's done. The other source tells me that Alonzo Highsmith is the favorite, okay? Both of these people have given me good information in the past. They cannot both be right, though, obviously, because if one guy says it's definitely Gino, the other guy says, oh, it's almost definitely Alonzo, they cannot both be right, but they might both be wrong. There are so many cooks in the kitchen at the University of Miami who are trying to help make these decisions, and they all want their stories to get told to strengthen their own position. I believe that the pro-Diaz faction are actively trying to scare Mario Cristobal away from wanting this job. They want to make this entire process appear to be a shit show. And that's just my belief. My belief is part of the agenda from the pro-Diaz folks are, if we can make this whole search look like a circus, we can scare him away. I believe that the people with the most say, now, there are checks and balances here, right? I mean, you do have to have some kind of an agreement, even if it's a majority agreement or a reluctant agreement from BOT members before the president's office can finalize anything. So there has to be somewhat of a consensus here. But I believe that the people with the most say are President Julio Frank's advisors, and they are probably the ones that are talking the least and creating the fewest of these leaks, okay? For example, there was a report that came out yesterday. It was after my show yesterday. I think it was early evening, that got everybody's attention. It got everybody talking. It got some people angry. It got some people happy. You had a report come out last night from On3 Sports, on3sports.com, which, to be honest, I had not even heard of. But maybe it's because I'm not enough of a recruiting head. All right. Maybe some of you have. I mean, when it comes to recruiting stuff, 24/7 rivals, those are my go-tos. But something called On3 Sports last night reported that Manny Diaz will probably be retained. That was the report. And here's part of the issue. There becomes a really nefarious game of telephone that happens after that. That report by On3 Sports that never said definitely being retained or it's official or it's happening, that gets picked up by Bleacher Report. A lot of us subscribe to Bleacher Report, including me. Every time that happens, something that happens concerning my favorite sports teams, I get the notification. I get the ping on my phone from Bleacher Report, and some headline pops up, right? I get several of those a day, and since I follow the Miami Hurricanes, I get a lot of these. So Bleacher Report puts out a notification based on that On3 Sports report last night with the headline, Manny Diaz keeping Miami job. So a lot of people see that. You get the official looking notification on Bleacher Report, Manny Diaz keeping job. You probably assume, okay, the university has announced something. It's official. That's not even what happened. They made it appear like the University of Miami made an announcement, which they have not. To this point, they've not made any announcement one way or the other. Even the report that they sourced did not say for sure that it's a real thing. Now, this site On3 Sports, I looked them up last night and today. They're based in Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm not sure why anyone should think that a sports publication based in Nashville knows more than the local news sources, which also, to be frank, don't know a whole lot right now. So if we can agree that the local reporters, the Barry Jacksons, my great colleagues at 5 Reasons Sports, if we're all being given information from multiple different directions contradicting one another, why would I think that some website based in Nashville, Tennessee, they're the ones who know, oh, Manny's not going anywhere. Now, when you word their report the way that they did, when you say most likely, probably, when you use language like that, their asses are covered either way. Because at the end of this week, if the university would announce, oh yeah, we're keeping Diaz, then they can say, we were right. We told you he was probably staying. Or if the university fires Diaz, on3sports.com can say, well, we never told you it definitely wasn't happening. We told you it's probably happening. Okay. So this is what's going on. So a lot of what I just gave you are smoke signals, right? Smoke screens, things that I believe to be BS. Let me run through what we do know. And if I left anything out here, please, my friends, let me know, because I know I have people in the chat who follow Hurricanes football as closely as I do, if not even closer than I do. So if I leave out anything here on what we definitely do know, please feel free to fill me in if I leave anything out. So here's what we do know. The University of Miami administration, yes, they have not fired Manny Diaz, but they have also not publicly endorsed him. Okay? So that's very important to remember. If he was for sure keeping his job, it would be to their benefit as an administration and as an athletic department. It would be to their benefit to make a statement saying he's keeping his job. And that has not happened, right? This is a very important time. You're going to be playing in a bowl game at some point this month. Happy December, everybody. So I doubt it's going to be a January bowl game. Some point this month, you're going to play in a bowl game. Early signing period is exactly 2 weeks away in recruiting. So if you were 100% sure that you were keeping your head coach, it would be to your benefit to announce it, because that clears up a lot of things, but they haven't made any announcement. Okay. So that tells me that he could very well lose his job, or at the very least, they are undecided on whether he loses his job. So I don't know how anybody from On3 Sports or any other publication thinks they know something that we don't, okay? Now, most of the good reporters believe that Julio Frank, the president, and his advisors and the BOT, they want the new athletic director who's yet to be hired, that they want the new athletic director to be the one to ultimately decide Manny Diaz's fate. So until we have a new AD, nothing is going to be finalized. So don't believe anyone who tells you right now that Diaz is for sure staying. You probably also shouldn't believe anyone who tells you he's for sure gone, because they don't know that. They can't possibly know that right now. Now, another important thing, and I mentioned this in the title of this episode, okay? It is believed, it's been widely reported, that Manny Diaz's buyout is down by $2 million as of today. That as of today, the buyout has dropped $2 million lower than it was yesterday. Now, that could explain why, if you are in the camp that he's probably not going to be the head coach very much longer, that would explain why he's still been employed at least up until this point. Okay, why fire him in November when you can save $2 million by doing it in December? Now, it's December 1st, mid-afternoon. It still hasn't happened yet, okay? It is believed that Miami's top two candidates for a new head coach, should that job come open, are Mario Cristobal and Lane Kiffin. There have been a ton of coaching changes over the past few days in college football. If you've watched ESPN and you've listened to the radio, you know that. It's become a coaching carousel these last couple of days, okay? There have been a ton of coaching changes, but neither Lane nor Mario to this point has made a move. They are both still employed, one at Oregon, one at Ole Miss, but neither of them has jumped anywhere else. So I think that should be, at the very least, a sigh of relief for Miami Hurricanes fans, knowing that both of your candidates are theoretically on the table, right? Because if Lane Kiffin were to, have gone to Florida and Mario were to have gone to LSU or something, that he could say, oh my God, this is big trouble, but they both still are theoretically available. This is a great segue to our first guest, who does an awesome job. I enjoy his content. I enjoy his site. He does a lot of great YouTube content with Matt Shodell as well. Gary Fuhrman from Canesport.com. Gary, I was watching Good Morning Canesport, and you noted, and I think very correctly, and again, this is all just this is common sense here. Like, this is not any sort of a report, but this is common sense. You reminded everybody Mario Cristobal is coaching the Oregon Ducks in the SEC championship game on Friday night against Utah.
At 12, yeah.
At 12, yeah, okay, at 12, my bad. So if Miami is going to move for Mario, the best time to do that would probably be shortly after, not shortly before the Pac-12 championship game. So yeah. So and let me start here, Gary, because there's so much to unpack. Okay, let's start here. On the athletic director stuff, how close do you think Miami is to picking their guy? Because we've been waiting patiently for over 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's hard to say, Alex. I mean, I'm expecting something by the end of the week. I'm thinking maybe by Friday. Maybe they'll have a press conference introducing their new athletic director. I don't think that's etched in stone or guaranteed. Doesn't seem to me like they're trying to rush per se. I think they're comfortable taking their time. But I would think before they make a move on the football side of the equation, they would like to have an athletic director in place, just so that everything is seamless. The optics are good. It shows that person's in charge of the athletic department. So many reasons that we could come up with why they would want to do that. Yeah. That's what I'm expecting.
Are you leaning a certain way? And I know some of what I want to get into you with, and we were talking about before you hopped in, is there are so many unreliable narrators leaking things here. People are just leaking stuff that suits their agenda, it seems like. Like if you talk to one person, they'll say, oh, Gino Torretta basically has the job. You talk to someone else, no, Alonso Highsmith is the favorite. Like, depending on who you talk to, you get all sorts of different forms of information. Is there an AD candidate that you are leaning to who you think more likely than not, person X is going to be the new AD?
Not really, Alex, but I can tell you that the name that's been coming up over and over again, really for about, I guess, probably about 3 weeks now, is a guy named Eddie Nunez at New Mexico. He's a Miami guy, played basketball at Miami High. I believe it was, played at Miami-Dade, went to the University of Florida, has a lot of contacts in the community, a lot of friendships in the community. And I believe he wants to come back here, and he has very aggressively gone after this job. I think that he's right there. I mean, I've heard he's had a couple interviews, but I don't know that he's been offered the job yet. So until that happens, I think it remains wide open. I know that Alonzo Highsmith is said to have interviewed incredibly well. I mean, we've been hearing, rumblings of that people have been impressed with Alonzo. And, he does say a lot of the right things. It makes a lot of sense for a role in the athletic department. I would not be shocked if we ended up with an Eddie Nunez, Alonzo Highsmith kind of tag team, with Eddie Nunez as the AD, Alonzo Highsmith right there next to him running football and working on things along those lines. I think Jen Strawley has a great chance of sticking in the department as the senior administrator for women's sports, and they'll march forward. That's kind of like right now what I'm hearing, but I'm very open-minded on that AD job.
It sounds to me like there's at least a faction within the board of trustees that's really pushing for Diaz to be kept around. How much power do you think the BOT really has here? Because we've also heard it reported by Barry Jackson and others that they want the new AD to make the final decision on Manny Diaz and coaching. So do you think the board of trustees could maybe successfully, put a wrench in those plans?
What do you got? You got 66 plus trustees, right, Alex? I mean, how in the world are you going to get everybody to agree? They're not going to. Not today, not yesterday.
That's a good point.
Not tomorrow. There's no way. Okay, so they've had to work through that a little bit. No argument. But I think at the end of the day, the president's office has taken charge of this, and I think that the president has certainly been convinced of the importance of athletics and the image of the athletic department and the university in the overall global aspect of things. And I think they're taking it very seriously. And I think that by bringing in an athletic director and saying that the decision is that athletic directors, I think that helps smooth things out with all the different factions or groups or whatever you want to call them within the board of trustees and the university in whole, and it makes total sense. That's the best way for them to handle it. However, all that said, if I'm looking at this honestly, I am not sure that when that athletic director gets named, that everything else that's going to come with it is not already predetermined.
Okay.
I think it's going to happen very fast, Alex.
Well, and that statement right there is a good lead in, because one of the things, and I advised everyone who's watching this right now, if you're a big time Canes fan and you're the type who gets, emotionally affected by various reports and rumors that you read, like you might want to just take a few days off from social media. Because one thing, Gary, that people are freaking out about.
You come to canesport.com is what you do.
Well, fair. And you know why you do that?
Stay away from damn Twitter.
Well, and that's actually a good shout, because I find you and your staff to be more rational than 99% of the other people in the Hurricane space. So you're not going to find as much of the panic and clickbait from you guys as you find.
You know what? We do our best, Alex. But I mean, as you know, we've both been around here for a long time. These coaching searches are beasts of their own. Yeah. Information changes very fast. Right. Earlier, I mean, I'm the first to admit I have gotten burned once or twice in these coaching search situations when facts on the ground changed. And people are very emotional, very passionate about it. To this day, 10, 11 years later, I'm still hearing about the fiasco that was Kirby Hokut's pursuit of John Gruden.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I still hear about it constantly, and got nothing wrong, did nothing wrong, but it's still a source of, people like to needle you every now and then and stuff. It's fine. It's all in fun. But yeah, these things can change, and they're very fluid situations. And I am just blown away by what's been going on Twitter. Yeah. And all these different rumors that people are throwing out there. And we've gone from an announcement's being made Monday to an announcement being made Tuesday. Now we're sitting here Wednesday. Gino's the top candidate. Alonzo's the top candidate. Lane Kiffin's getting the job. I mean, you could write a book on all the bad rumors on Twitter. So,
I'd read that book.
Yeah, you really could. I mean, so like we try to work through that and keep it real with the people that are with us,
Well, let me ask you, do you think this is a fair concern? Because people are looking at how quickly some of these other universities have fired and hired coaches and how it's not come together for Miami. I think sometimes people forget it's more complicated at Miami because you're looking for an AD and potentially a coach, right? So it's a little bit
Yeah,
more complicated than
but
the
not
situations.
necessarily, Alex.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
necessarily. I mean, people make their own narratives up and then they
yeah,
comment on them.
yeah.
If you were at USC a couple days ago, you would have said, "What the heck is going on?" I mean, we fired Clay Helton back in September, early September, and we're sitting here in late November. We still don't know who our coach is going to be. We don't even have a leading candidate.
Right.
We are no place at USC. And then all of a sudden, boom, Lincoln Riley's the head coach at USC. I can assure you, I feel very confident right now that the University of Miami has handled this very, very well. I think that this is going to end up in a place that's going to make at least the majority of people happy. I don't think you're going to make everybody happy, but I feel pretty confident that a week or so from now, everyone's going to be sitting back looking at the University of Miami, the University of Miami football program, and they're going to feel real good about what's going on.
Well, yeah, and so I wanted to close up that specific thought on this. When people get very concerned about Miami taking too long, is that a valid concern, or do you think the timetable is still at this moment fine?
I see no issues, Alex. I think everything's great. I think I think they're finishing up the AD search. I think they're doing a thorough job with that. I think they have a good search firm handling it. I'm expecting that to reach a conclusion, I think, by Friday. And then they move on to the next piece over the weekend. And I don't see any issues at all. I think that they're moving along exactly as they would have hoped to. Now, if we're sitting here a week from now and nothing's happened and they still don't have an AD, my opinion will be different, but I'm not expecting that.
So the last time we spoke, we had you on the show about 2 weeks ago, I think, give or take a day. And you would express to me a certain amount of confidence, about as much confidence as anyone can have with a fluid situation like this, that that if Manny were to get let go, if not Mario, they could get Lane, that they would probably be able to land one of those top two guys. Do you still feel pretty confident in that, or do you kind of worry now, oh, maybe Mario and Lane both wouldn't want the job?
No, I'm in the same place I was 2 weeks ago. And,
Good.
No doubt about it. And I think Lane is sitting there probably hoping or expecting that things will break down when Miami tries to finalize with Mario. I'm not so sure about it the way he is from what I hear, but I do think that one of those two guys will be the next football coach at Miami.
What do you think would happen if the possibility, maybe it's remote, but if they do retain Manny Diaz, how concerned, Gary, would you be about next year? And it's not only with Diaz, it's also about, hey, he's got to replace an offensive coordinator because Rhett Lashley, I liked him a lot. He's out to SMU. I feel like if they let Diaz coach another year, they need to strong arm him to get a defensive coordinator. I don't want him splitting those duties himself. And the recruiting class is not good right now, whether he stays or leaves. It's mostly going to be transfer portal action. So, I mean, how concerned, do you think that it could be a real potential tragedy for Miami if Diaz is retained, or should fans not be too concerned if that does come to pass?
I think it would be, I have a formula, Alex, that I created many, many years ago watching this fiasco that's been Miami football for the last 15, 20 years. It's same plus same equals same. I've patented that, okay? And that's I think what we would get is same plus same equals same. Listen, I like Manny. He's a good dude. There's a handful of guys around the country right now that are needle movers. Miami needs a needle mover. You got to separate from the pack. And the only way you're going to separate from the pack is to get somebody who's an elite CEO, an elite recruiter into the Hex Center, Schwartz Center over there that changes the dynamics of the way the program's run, period. I've been saying it for years. I said it before Blake James destroyed his career with what he did on the day that Mark Richt retired. There was no doubt in my mind that we would be in this place. I thought we would be in this place after 4 years. We've ended up here after 3. So yes, it was worse than even what I suspected then. But I think next year would be same plus same equals same. You still have an easy schedule. You're still going to go through the ACC and be able to win your share of those games. You're going to be in knockdown dragouts a lot. You're going to lose a few of them because of that. I mean, 7 of their 8 ACC games this year, Alex, were one-play games. They could have gone either way.
Right.
They could have won all 7 or lost all 7. What they ended up, I guess, a 4-3 in those or whatever.
I think 4 and 3. Yeah. 5 and 3. I think
5 and 2 in those. Yeah.
Okay,
but the of the 5, other than Duke, there's 4 of the 5 were one-play games that could have gone the other way too. So those things kind of even themselves out for the most part. And you do have a very good quarterback coming back. So, they could go back and do the same thing all over again. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think it's time for Miami football to move forward. I think they have to understand that there is massive separation between where Miami is today, Alex, and where teams like Georgia and Ohio State and Alabama and these schools are. And Miami is non-competitive against those schools. They got a long way to go. But you get the right guy in that office, you can bridge that gap very quickly.
How much sleep have you gotten over the last 2 weeks?
Not a lot. No, we've been starting. I mean, it's endless. I mean, 6 a.m. to like 1 a.m. in the morning. I mean, the phones don't stop ringing. Everybody either wants to know what's going on or they want to talk about it or give you what they're hearing. And but it's listen, it's an exciting time for people, and there is hope. I will tell everybody who's watching your show. There is hope. It is not doom and gloom. I am not somebody, Alex will tell you, who's ever afraid to criticize anything.
I know.
In fact, I think I think I got booted off the halftime show because I was too candid.
Yeah, I never got confirmation on why that happened, but that was my suspicion.
Yeah, when you and I used to do the halftime shows,
we had a great time doing those too.
It was awesome. But I understand. But listen, I'm always honest, and I give an honest opinion. So if there was something negative to say, I wouldn't be afraid to say it. Everything I'm seeing and hearing, I am excited about. I think it's great. And I think the entire Canes fan nation, about a week from now, will be so happy, and there will be such a mood of exuberance and excitement. That's where I think this is going. And until I see something that changes my mind, I think I'll stay there.
That is awesome. Now, I wanted to pull up this question from Anthony, although this might be too good of a question to possibly answer because there's so many things that would have to happen first. He says, Gary, for you, if we hire Mario as a head coach, when the new athletic director comes in, who are your top candidates for defensive and offensive coordinator? Now, I know that the gentleman who was his OC at Oregon, I think, is leaving to coach Akron, so he would not be bringing his name escapes me. He'll not be bringing that guy with him. I know that. So I don't. Have you thought that far down the road, Gary?
Not really. I would think that if Rob Chudzinski was interested in coming back as an associate head coach, offensive coordinator, I think he would have that opportunity.
Love it.
I know he and Mario are very good friends. But beyond that, no, I do not have any idea who his coordinators would be. But I will tell you this, that in all my years in this business, there is nobody that I've seen that does a more thorough job of identifying coaches and hiring coaches than Mario Cristobal. And that goes back to when he was at FIU. If you just take a look at how many of those guys that were on his staff at FIU making peanuts, making absolutely nothing there, with a program that was no place, that were on that staff and ended up going to major jobs in college football. Some of them head coaches, guys like Scott Satterfield, who's a head coach now, comes to mind. He's at Louisville. Todd Orlando, who was the defensive coordinator, I believe, at USC, has had a huge career. He's been at Texas, so USC as a defensive coordinator, is considered one of the top defensive coordinators in the country. Mario Cristobal is really good at hiring coaches and identifying coaches and screening coaches. And I can tell you're not getting a job with him unless you're an elite recruiter. That's something else. And I don't think anybody has to be worried about who's going to be on his coaching staff. He will put together an elite staff at Miami.
But should we be worried about who's on Manny Diaz's coaching staff if he is retained, though? That's the big one for me.
Yeah, 100%. It's like everybody knows that Manny's on the hot seat if he sticks.
That's true.
So I don't know how many elite guys are going to be looking to come down here. I mean, it worked for Rhett Lashley at the time. He had been run out of Auburn. He had gone to UConn and then to SMU. He needed a big stage. He was looking for a stage to get back and expose himself a little bit. Miami worked out great for that. It gave him the stage. He developed Tyler Van Dyke this year, parlayed it into a head coaching job. You might be able to find somebody like that that's looking for that type of showcase, because Miami is a showcase, but it won't be easy for sure.
Well, I appreciate your time. Let people know, by the way, where they can find all of your content, whether it's on the website or on YouTube, because I watch all your shows. You not only help me keep informed, but you help me keep sane, because you and Matt Shodell, you're rational guys. I always feel at least a little bit better when I watch you guys on Good Morning Cane Sport.
We try to have fun with it. And people seem to like the show. Canesport.com is our website. We have message boards, news all day long, every day. Great place to come hang out if you're a Hurricane fan. Our Twitter's at CaneSport, and our YouTube channel, I believe, is CaneSport TV, where you can find our YouTube programming.
Well, excellent stuff. Gary Fuhrman, thank you so much. And hopefully we get some resolution so you can get some sleep.
Yeah. Anytime, Alex. Always happy to come on your show.
Absolutely. Gary does a fantastic, fantastic job. We're going to talk some Dolphins in a moment with Big John Studd. I want to remind you guys, one of our newest partners here on Donno Daily. Let me make sure I get their info front and center. Oh, I'm so happy to be partnered, to be an affiliate of our good friends at BlockFi. I'm very active in the crypto space. A lot of you who watch this are big crypto heads. And if you're not, you've probably been looking to get into it. BlockFi is a crypto fan's dream, because not only can you trade, buy, and sell, but you can earn 8%. Actually, now you can earn up to 9% APY with your crypto with a BlockFi interest account. You can also sign up for the BlockFi Visa and get 1.5% back in Bitcoin. So these are some great deals, folks. I encourage you to check it out and sign up. We actually have a referral link. So if you're going to sign up at BlockFi, I encourage you to please use our referral link. You can find it in the description to this show. Just scroll down. You will see our show link. Sign up at BlockFi and earn up to now 9% APY with your crypto. Let's stack those sats together. So, all right, let's bring in now the man, the myth, the legend. This man is absolutely a show favorite. He was at least partly responsible to my conversion, okay? Because Big John Studd, a week ago, sir, I would have classified myself as a Tua skeptic. Wasn't a hater, wasn't a Tua stan. I was just holding out for a little bit more evidence, right? It's like those agnostics, the people who can't figure out, do I believe in God or do I not believe in God? I'm not so sure. I was a Tua Tagovailoa agnostic, and I said it last week. If Tua can have a very good game, and I would consider what he had last week to be a great game against the top passing defense in the NFL, it was going to get my attention. I know he's had your attention for quite some time. So I'm a Tua stan now, sir. You are at least partially responsible for that. How does that feel?
It feels amazing, bro. But before we get started, you don't have to believe in God. You can just believe in me, bro.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah, just letting you know.
I know that as well.
Me and God communicate. I'm telling you, it works.
Oh man, and it's
go ahead.
Well, I want to look back to the performance that he had. We've had some good quarterbacks have some pretty mediocre or worse games against Carolina's defense. We saw, and really, you saw a number of good throws from Tua. I thought maybe the best of those was that 9-yard touchdown that he threw to Jalen Waddle, because he threaded that needle between 3 defenders. I mean, that is the sort of accuracy that people have been telling these amazing tales about with Tua Tagovailoa since he was the Alabama quarterback. We saw it firsthand on that throw.
Yeah, we did. But I mean, to me, the most impressive part was the supposed arm strength he doesn't have.
Right.
If you don't have any arm strength, you can't get that between 3 defenders. So, I've always said it, man. Give this kid enough. Even Dan Orlovsky, I mean, as crazy as he is running at the back of the end zone for a safety, he said it. Give Tua an offensive line. Give him some wide receivers that are actually available. and see what the kid does. Because I mean, he does have a winning record as a starting quarterback when you're surrounded by shit, and he still pulls it off somehow, some way. He has a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio when surrounded by shit. He made Mac Hollins relevant. Nobody knew who Matt Hollins was till Tua got here. So I mean, if you can make Mac Hollins relevant, what can you do with actual weapons? and I'm not trying to hate on Mac Hollins, but the problem, it's a reality. People knew who he was as a gunner. Nobody knew he could actually catch the football.
Right.
Because when he was in Philadelphia, he couldn't stay healthy. Thank God he stayed healthy here. Now, what would happen if Tua was injury prone in Miami, ended up going to New Orleans, and never got hurt again?
Folks, we Tua stands. We are in war. We are at war with the forces of evil. We are the forces of good. We are at war with the forces of evil. I don't know, Big John Stud, if you've noticed this. I know you're active on Twitter. So the narrative for the Tua haters is always changing, right? Now that he's looking better, he's making throws, he's working through these offensive line troubles, they always have to move the goalposts. And now the big thing I'm seeing, this narrative is, well, he can only throw with RPO. Like he's useless when they're not RPO snaps, which is crazy. And you know what? If you took away my uncle's testicles, he'd be my aunt. Like, okay, so he's the best RPO quarterback in the NFL. Is there anything? They're coming up constantly with new narratives to discredit Tua. Oh, he can only play run pass option. Oh, yeah, well, if you cut off his left arm, he may have trouble throwing the football with his right arm. The forces of evil are trying to discredit this young man any way they can.
Yeah, but I mean, people who, if you fall into that and you actually listen to them, then you need to realize that they're full of shit. I'm pardon my French. I mean, let me ask you a question. First of all, that's not true, because when Tua played last year against the Cardinals and he beat Kyler Murray, they weren't running RPO.
Right.
Okay? So that narrative right there on one game, on his first road game, which he won, that narrative is nonsense. And people who say that just, they have no life, dude. And they're supposed to be Dolphin fans. I don't understand how you can be a Dolphin fan but hate on your quarterback. It doesn't make. Okay, so what does that make Lamar Jackson then? So Lamar Jackson is okay. So then Chris Greer was right then. Lamar Jackson's a running back because he can't throw.
That's right. And
we proved.
You see that comment is true too from Take the Cannoli. He beat Herbert as well.
Yeah, but he's not a good quarterback. But he beat Lamar Jackson. He beat Kyler Murray. He beat everybody. Everybody he plays that were supposedly they're better than him.
Except for Patrick Mahomes, but that was a good duel last year. Like they both played very well in that game last year.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes played with a full team, and Tua was playing with 6 guys from Walmart at wide receiver. I mean, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Hardman, and our fastest receiver was Jakeem Grant, who, like I said before, can't catch a beach ball with stick-'em gloves. So, I mean, did Tua really have a chance?
No.
The fact that he made it respectable is amazing.
Now, this is going to be an interesting one this weekend. Dolphins, no excuses whatsoever not to beat the New York Giants. Now, I know some people saw when they got the news that Daniel Jones is going to be out with a neck injury, like, oh, the advantage Giants. Daniel Jones is out. They might have a chance. Well, I mean, come on. I'm not a big Daniel Jones fan, but Mike Glennon is going to start. Mike Glennon is fucking terrible, okay? Now, Mike Glennon is he's two wins in his last 14 starts. At least with Daniel Jones, you've got some athleticism there. He's got 1,000 rushing yards in his NFL career. Mike Glennon has 109 rushing yards in his entire NFL career, no touchdowns. So this basically what the Dolphins are going to be going up against this weekend is if I can use your analogy here, the Walmart version of Joe Flacco, right? Like they're basically going up against a younger Joe Flacco with the same athleticism, but less intelligence and less of an arm. That's who the Dolphins go up against this weekend in Mike Glennon. There is no excuse not to win this game.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that we win this game. I just don't know by how many points we win the game. And it could be anywhere. I think we'd probably win by 17. I mean,
I can see that.
He's a statue.
Yeah.
Where's he gonna go? And it's not like he's a small target. The guy's like 6'7", right?
Yeah. Oh, he's gigantic. I remember when he played at NC State. He's 30 feet tall, this guy.
He's got like a 7-inch neck. Like, you can't miss the guy. He's like the quarterback version of Merton Hanks. Like, there's no way in hell you're going to lose that guy. Like, he can't even hide if he wanted to. He's going to sit back there and he's going to have Javon Holland nightmares the entire time if they do the zero blitz. It's back to if they're going to actually play defense. Because we all know, no matter who the quarterback is, Jerome Baker can't cover. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Jerome Baker, if there's a statue back there and it has a priceless artifact, it will get stolen. He cannot defend.
Now, you and I, we had an off-air conversation earlier this week, but I'd love for you to share with my viewers what you thought of Philip Lindsay's debut at running back. And I did. I watched the clip of when he literally saved Tua's life by making a block before Tua threw the 57-yarder to Jalen Waddle. And if not for Philip Lindsay, Tua would have been 6 feet under on that play.
That I told you, that's the best play. That's the best block by a Dolphin player the entire season. Outside of the one that Hunt, when he plastered the player for Baltimore, and then he flexed on him after he plastered him, the best block was Lindsay. If Philip Lindsay doesn't make that block, Tua might have fractured ribs on the other side. Because, you know, what's his name? I forgot the rookie's name. He missed the block, bro. Eichenberg missed the block completely.
He did.
Believe it or not, Philip Lindsay actually wasn't even supposed to make that block. He was supposed to go out for a pattern, and before he went out to be the safety valve, he planted the linebacker for Carolina, which to me was impressive, considering the fact that he's
Son Reddick.
Yeah, not only because of who it was, but he's 5'8", 190, and he planted him. So, you know, it just proves that Gaskin can't block because Gaskin doesn't want to block. He should be the offensive line coach. I'm not gonna lie.
He might as well be. We're joined here. We're joined by Big John Studd. So the Dolphins, they're now 7-5, and they've got two more very winnable. Actually, they have a handful of very winnable games coming up.
I think you said that. You said that wrong. They're not 7-5. They're 5-7.
My bad. Yeah,
I wish they were 7-5.
Yeah, I see. I'm getting ahead of myself. You're right. The Dolphins are 5-7. They could be 7-7 in a couple of weeks. They still yet to come have matchups against the Tennessee Titans, who aren't looking so good without Derrick Henry, the New Orleans Saints, who haven't been looking all that good. Week 18 against the New England Patriots could maybe be a game that decides a playoff spot. But am I getting too ahead of myself here? Because, a month ago, we were 1-7, not even thinking about playoffs. And even if the Dolphins were to win out and go 10-7, that might not even be enough. And even in winnable games, winning, what would end up being 9 straight would not be an easy task in the NFL. Do I allow myself to dream about playoffs, or should I just take it 1 week at a time?
I don't have to take it 1 week at a time, because I told you when it's funny. As soon as Elandon Roberts comes out on video telling everybody, including Tua, it's not you, it's coaching, all of a sudden, we decide to play defense. Right. It's amazing what they do. Now, the Jets, They don't scare me. The Giants don't scare me. New Orleans would scare me if they had a quarterback. I don't think Taysom Hill's going to play. But with who's their quarterback? I forgot. Wait. Let me ask Joshua. Who's their quarterback? You don't know? Okay, he doesn't know his own team's quarterback. That's just fine. He's like the third string guy. I don't remember his name right now. I'm pretty sure Brooklyn Rob knows who he is. I don't. Shout out to Brooklyn Rob. But, I the only game that I see that we could possibly lose, and it would only happen if we don't show up to the game because we forfeit, is the New England game. Because, again, I've seen Mac Jones play. He's respectable. Everybody loves him. On every TV show on TV, Mac Jones, the New England Patriots, they're so good. Until you blitz Mac Jones. If you play the Dolphin amoeba defense against Mac Jones, I see him crumbling like an accordion. He got blitzed by Atlanta, who doesn't blitz anybody. And they were 2 for 2 with 2 sacks. So, I don't know. I don't see Tennessee beating us. Ryan Tannehill running away from a blitz? Never. That's never happened. So, I mean, if they get Derrick Henry back, is Derrick Henry going to be 100%? No.
Let the people know, Big John Stud, where they can find you, sir. And by the way, a lot of folks saying hello to you, including Miami Sports Fanatic Show, our guy Gio.
Yeah, that's where you can find me right there. You can find me there. I'll be there. Fins Nation Miami on Tuesdays occasionally, depending on what they're doing. Miami Sports Fanatic Show. They can find me on here with you every Wednesday.
I love
That's
it.
a fact.
Big John Stud, thank you so much, man. God bless. We'll talk again next week. Let's go Dolphins. Oh, I don't know if he froze at the end there or if I froze. Happy Big John. He's giving me the thumbs up there in the waiting room. Thank you so much, Big John Stud. So I want to before we wrap up this episode, and of course, before we wrap it up, I'll give shout outs because we've been very active. You guys have been very active in the chat today, which I appreciate. And a lot of the comments I haven't even gotten to because I was in the zone, right, with Gary Fuhrman and with Big John Stud. Tunnel vision, my friends, tunnel vision. But so this news unfortunately dropped after my show started. I saw several people putting it in the chat, and I wanted to verify it, and now we can get into a little bit. Tim Bontemps updated the story at 3:20 p.m. on ESPN. Bam Adebayo has to have surgery for a torn ligament in his thumb. So here's part of the story, and then I'll talk a little bit about what this is going to mean here. Hopefully more Udonis Haslem playing time. But no, Tim Bontemps writes, Miami Heat All-Star center Bam Adebayo will undergo surgery to repair a torn ulnar collateral ligament in his left thumb, the team announced Wednesday. Sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski that Adebayo is expected to be out for 6 weeks, which would cause him to miss between 15 to 20 games. So, God willing, playoff run happens, and Bam will be ready before the playoff run starts. Adebayo, 24, they write, has blossomed into one of the NBA's best two-way centers, able to switch out onto virtually any guard defensively while also being a hub of Miami's offensive attack. Through 18 games this season, Adebayo is averaging 18.7 points, 10.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1.1 steals per game. He suffered the injury during Monday's loss to the Denver Nuggets, which was Miami's third defeat in 6 games. The Heat host the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday night. Veteran Dwayne Dedman, and I love Dwayne, is likely to step into Adebayo's place in the starting lineup. Miami is still down another big forward, Markieff Morris. Oh, wait, I thought he was faking. The Jokic brothers, listen, in Serbia, that is how we say hello. We blindside you, and that is how we say good evening in Serbia. Oh, all the Jokic fanboys were like, oh, Markieff, he's faking. He was fine. He's a dirty player. The guy's missed, 11, 12 games now consecutively. He's been out since early November, injured his neck. Oh, wait, he was faking injury. No, he wasn't faking it. If you really wanted to sell it, you'd miss a game. You don't miss 11, 12 games when you're faking it. The Heat, they write, after adding all-star point guard Kyle Lowry in a sign-and-trade deal this summer, a deal that cost Miami a future second-round pick. I wanted to get into that as well. Enter Wednesday's action tied with the Washington Wizards for third place in the Eastern Conference standings. I hope that, Bam, missing about 6 weeks. You know me, I always like to try and look at the positive here. I don't think even prior to that thumb injury, he was dealing with other things because he didn't look like he was really playing healthy to me. Bam did not look like himself. In stretches, sure, right? The game the other night, the Denver game, he came out, dominated in the second half, was MIA in the first half. It's been inconsistent this year. So he's going to be forced now to miss time with this surgery he's having, the thumb surgery, not some surgery, some thumb surgery. He's going to be forced to miss some time. Hopefully these 6 weeks away give him time, his body time to mend whatever other issues, knee issues, whatever he was having. Hopefully his body has time to mend up completely. And when Bam is ready to return, we get full 100% Bam Adebayo because the Heat are going to need it. It's unfortunate, right? We're going to need now Dwayne Dedmon to stay up, to stand out. Hopefully we can start to see more growth from my Turkish delight, Omer Yurtseven. And this is tough. This is really, really tough. But I'm not going to panic because something we know about this Miami Heat team is they are deep, okay? Positionless basketball could come into play here, but I think that this team is built, even though they're now down a big and temporarily down 2 bigs because of Markieff Morris as well. They can play small. They can play positionless basketball. You can get defense from other spots on the floor. The Heat can persevere through this. They can persevere through this. I mean, there have been plenty of nights this season where, Bam or Jimmy and or Tyler or Lowry have sat out various nights for minor ailments, and the Heat have still come away with big victories, even in their absences. We got to have all the rest of the hands on deck here the rest of the way. Oh, this is a good comment from Take the Cannoli, which is formerly MB Beggs. Marco is now Take the Cannoli. He says, just pray he doesn't have Will Fuller's doctor. Oh, just pray he doesn't have Will Fuller's fingers. Will Fuller has missed like 12 games already with finger issues. So, God. Yeah, I hope you're right about that. Just pray that he doesn't have Will Fuller's doctor. So this is unfortunate. Bam Adebayo. I hate to see this. I'm just thankful it's only 6 weeks, right? Because anytime you see the headline, player X needs surgery, you're thinking, oh no, surgery, what is it, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? Oh, my face is melting. 6 weeks. 6 weeks is manageable, right? The Miami Heat are still one of the better teams, one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, even if the guy does have to miss 6 weeks. So I'm sorry about that. They also referenced in that piece, the Miami Heat, they got their penalty. The Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls, they got their penalty for tampering. Tampering, everybody does it. But I guess the Heat and Bulls were just too blatant about it because they had those sign-in trades done like the second the legal tampering period started. We're done, right? So it was the Bulls for DeMar DeRozan, the Heat for the Kyle Lowry sign-in trade with Toronto. The Heat and Bulls will be docked their next available second-round pick. Now, first of all, you think Pat Riley cares about second-round picks? This is a relief for Pat. Like, Pat Riley is saying, oh, my God, they took away our second-round pick. I don't have to stay up, like, past 11 to make that pick, or I don't have to worry about trading that pick. They just took it away from me. Fantastic. The other thing is, so the Chicago Bulls don't have a second-round pick until 2026. The Heat may not have a second-round pick until 2028. They might have one in 2024, but that would have to be between 31 and 50, I believe. So it's possible the Heat would not even have a second-round pick for the NBA to take away until the year 2028. So can you imagine, like, draft night, June 2028 rolls around. Half of Florida will probably be underwater by then. But whatever, my Kendall home will be beachfront property by that point, which is kind of awesome. But 2028 rolls around. You're like, oh, I can't wait for the second round of the draft. Oh no, we don't have a pick. Oh no. Oh, we're good. We are good. Israel Price writes in, Lowry at his 26 million better step up the scoring. Lowry at 36 is limited scoring. Where the firepower going to come from? I think Lowry is capable of it. I think some nights he defers to distributor first. I would hope that with Bam out of the lineup for 6 weeks, that Jimmy, Tyler, although Tyler has been stepping up his scoring, but continues to do so, and Lowry step up their scoring, because even though they're down to Bam, the Heat still have a big 3, in my opinion, because I think it's a big 4 with Adebayo, because I have added Tyler Hero into the big category. I consider it to be a big 4. Oh, and Dominic writes in, Bam, 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 Yurtsevin finally gets a chance, hopefully. I want more UD minutes as well. Throw UD some bones there. Occasional nights into the power rotation. I would love to see it, because UD always makes the most of it when he's able to play. All right, I want to throw the shout outs. Alex M. Yeah, I think this is a possibility. PJ or Deadman. Alex M., thank you so much for tuning in. 1J54, thank you so much. We are thin up front, but the Heat will persevere. The Heat is on. The Heat is still on. The Heat will persevere. Israel writes in, what do we do with Duncan? Is this just a slump? Now that we're 21 games in, I think it's more than a slump. I mean, I guess you could still call it a slump, but it's a really bad slump. And I think it's mental. And I think a lot of it has to do with, this is my educated guess, that Duncan he's trying to live up to the $90 million contract. He's got people like me, and, honestly, a lot of you are angry about Duncan's contract. I think Duncan's contract is an inspiration. I mean, you can be 1 for 9 bad at your job, and you can get paid $90 million over the course of a multi-year deal. He is the highest paid bricklayer of all time. Isn't this what the communists wanted? The communists wanted the working man. Oh, we have working man. We have bricklayer. He's making $90 million. This is wonderful. So he's an inspiration to the working class. This Duncan Robinson, $90 million to hit 1 out of his 9 3-point attempts the other night. It's fantastic. So huge shout out to Take the Cannoli. Thank you so much for tuning in. Miami Sports Fanatic, thank you for watching. Dominico 4000, thank you so much for watching. Let's see. Arson World 123, thank you so much. Yeah, this is when we were talking Dolphins. He wrote in, nobody cares about this. Bam needs surgery, and I'm devastated. I'm not devastated, because this is an opportunity for the Heat to show their depth, and it's also, I think, an opportunity for Adebayo to not only get his thumb healed up from surgery, but to get the rest of his body healed up. We are going to get full throttle Bam come playoff time, my friends. I look at the bright side here. Brooklyn Rob, thank you so much for tuning in. Hold on. I try not to do any repeats with the shout outs. Let's see who else. The Royale 1. Royale with cheese. Casino Royale. Alan Hardiman, thank you so much. Who's texting us some questions during the Gary Fuhrman interview. Bye Bosworth. That is a great reference to the Hurricanes of old. Let's see. Made in Dade 305. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shake Money, thank you so much. Anthony Monsanto, Chris Gons, which is probably Chris Gonzalez, probably short for that. Go Canes, Alex and Gary Fuhrman, Canes Nation. Yes, Manny Diaz needs to go. We need a change. Manny Diaz had his time here. 6 years total, 3 years head coach, 3 years defensive coordinator. You're not wrong. I want there to be a change. Big Dan 305, one of our favorites, always coming in strong in the chat. Thank you so much, Big Dan 305. Let's see. Oh, Jesse Lockhart. This is one of the funniest guys on Twitter. He always makes me smile, his Twitter timeline. He is fantastic. Zachary B, that was the first person to text in that something happened to Bam Adebayo, and then that's when I started scrambling. Oh my God, is this real? He needs surgery. Oh, and actually, you know what? PB Matthew was the first. He was the first person to say it in the chat. Want to give credit where credit is due. So I think that's going to do it for the shout outs. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so much for tuning in and making us a part of your day. We really appreciate it. Want to remind you, if you can, please support some of our awesome sponsors here on Donno Daily, because they're the ones that really make it go, man. The show could not exist without some of our great sponsors. I hadn't yet mentioned today, and I want to. Guys, you could be having so much fun at Underdog Fantasy. I have fun at Underdog Fantasy every single day. I mean, you could draft your season-long teams, football and basketball. You can also do their daily player over-unders, the player features that you can do on Underdog Fantasy. It is so much fun, my friends. Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest place to play fantasy football or basketball for big cash prizes. On Underdog, you just draft. No need to worry about waivers, lineups, or injuries. Underdog handles all of that for you. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download their awesome, easy-to-use mobile phone app. You draft your best ball team, and that is it. No in-season management. They're going to give you $25 when you sign up to take a free shot at a $1 million grand prize. That's right. You can get free play money at Underdog Fantasy if you use our code 5RSN. That's 5RSN. I love Underdog Fantasy because it's so easy to use. The mobile app is slick. Their website is user-friendly. So do what I've been doing. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com, join a league, draft a team, and that's it. You are good to go, my friends. Underdog Fantasy. I think we got a couple of late comments in. Oh, thank you. Oh, I know what the friend is. I don't know what that's about. Hold on. I don't know. People are talking shit. I don't understand. Richard Cartwright, Ariel Jackson, thank you guys for getting in as well. Alex M. We will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Hold on. I want to take down this Underdog banner so you can see my beautiful face. It's way too hot in this room that I'm in right now. I think it's this light that I have shining on my face. It's like it's lights. It's so hot in here. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. on another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Ciao.